Hello, this is Lino Tadros from Falafel Software. I'm happy to introduce you to the Falafel Dashboard. So let's get started. I created a very simple project called the Falafel Dashboard in Sitefinity 5.1 with the Service Pack 1. I'm going to go ahead and administer this website right now. This website does not have the dashboard from Falafel yet. As you can see here, once you get into the admin portion of the website, you're going to get the regular dashboard that comes with Sitefinity, which has some video links, has the migration link, and also some documentation at the portal. This is a great placeholder, hopefully for future versions of Sitefinity, but for right now, it doesn't really show any of the content or monitoring features or the health of the website itself. All right. Once you download the free version of the Falafel Dashboard, you will notice here under the downloads, I have a directory where I got a zip file. This is the zip file. It's called Falafel Dashboard Sitefinity MVC. And I open up the zip file. There it is. These are the files that come with it. There's a PDF here called Falafel Dashboard.pdf. There is the README file. There is the licensing file. And if you open up the PDF file in here, you'll notice that about 37 different pages, and in here we'll explain everything about the dashboard, from the installation, what you have to do, to the inclusion in the project for rebuilding inside of Sitefinity. It should take you less than a couple of minutes to get the whole thing ready to go. Even the configuration section that we add into the administration settings, all the different widgets that come with the product, how to enable it and disable each and every one of them. There will be tons of information in here to explain how the whole thing works. So let me go ahead and show you how to do that in front of you. I'm going to close this down. The main idea out of the zip file, in the deploy folder, there will be an MVC directory and a bin directory. The bin directory contains the main DLL, which is the Falafel Dashboard.dll. And the MVC directory contains an areas folder. And underneath that, you have all the different widgets. We will add a lot more widgets in the future as well. For the first release, we decided to go with those. Each and every one of them, for instance, like say the admin board, you will get a content directory that has all the images and the CSS file, which, by the way, all of the CSS will be manageable from inside of Sitefinity itself. You'll get the controller class in C#. You get the models in C# as well. All the scripts in JavaScript file will be in here. And finally, the views. And notice in the views, we will have an error view, an index view, an unauthorized view. You will see all the stuff in all the different widgets. These are all written in Razor syntax using MVC, so you can actually learn from that as well, hopefully how to do this if you're new to MVC as well. So the way to get this to work, we really need to get these two directories and include them inside of your project. So I'm going to copy these two directories. We'll say copy that to the clipboard. And now let's go ahead and open up Visual Studio. You can use Visual Studio 2010 or the new Visual Studio 2012 that we just released to manufacture a few days ago. I'm going to open up the project. I have a project here called Falafel Dashboard under the Sitefinity projects. And we'll open up the CS project right here. This is 2012, so you will actually have to accept the fact that it had to convert the whole site. It is correct, so we'll go ahead and close that. And that is our project in here. The first thing we're going to do, we want to make sure that we can compile and run this from inside of Visual Studio to make sure everything is working correctly. And there you go. We have a completely empty page. That's the home page. If we actually install or actually navigate to the /Sitefinity, let's go log into the back end. And you'll notice automatically, oops, let me go ahead and enter that. And now we'll end up logging into the dashboard. Again, we did not install the Falafel Dashboard yet. I'm going to do that in a couple of clicks. I just wanted to show you that the Falafel Dashboard website is running automatically from inside of Visual Studio right now, inside of the Chrome browser, which is my default browser. Great. Let's go ahead and close this down. Come back to Visual Studio here for a second. And I'm going to go into the Sitefinity web app, right click and say paste. That's our bin directory and the MVC folder that we've seen earlier. We'll say yes, go ahead and add that to the bin directory and the MVC directory as well. Notice in the bin directory we have the Falafel Dashboard.dll in there, and also the MVC have now an areas directory. In some instances, if you're using Visual Studio 2010, you'll need to go to the areas folder, right click, and you'll need to include it into the project. By default in here it got included. If that's not the case in your machine, you need to right click on the areas folder under MVC and you'll have to say include in project, okay? One last thing you'll have to do is in the references area in here, I'll need to right click and say add a reference, and we'll find where the Falafel dashboard is. There it is. We'll say browse. We'll get the one from right of side of this project. It's called Falafel Dashboard in the bin directory. And there is my Falafel Dashboard.dll. We'll say add that. And it added automatically Falafel Dashboard as an assembly in the references. That's the only thing you'll have to do. Right now, you got yourself the entire Falafel Dashboard part of this. I'm going to go ahead and build this project. And it's done. We can run it now again. The only difference now is that when I run this in the browser, like Chrome, for instance, in my instance in here, that will automatically load on the first time, and the DLL itself. And the only thing left for me now is to install that module that we just created or we just added to Sitefinity in the system. Let's go ahead and log into the backend again. Oops, Sitefinity. And here we go to administration, and where it says system modules, we're going to click on that. And here we're going to install the module we just added to the bin directory. We can give it a name. We'll say the name, for instance, will be something like Falafel Dashboard. And the description, let's get it from Falafel Dashboard for Sitefinity MVC. And the type here is very important. It's coming from our assembly for Falafel Dashboard, so it has to be identical in here. So we'll need to say Falafel Dashboard, that's the name of the assembly, dot dashboard module. So this is the only part that it has to be identical in here to match the name of the module inside of our assembly for Falafel Dashboard. Once you do that, folks, we're going to say save in here, and notice that it will load all the modules, and Falafel Dashboard will be one already activated and installed, and it's ready to go. And here it is. It says Falafel Dashboard, and it's active. In the future, if you would like to turn it off, you can go to the action and deactivate it. And after you deactivate it, you can even uninstall it now in 5.1. So that's great. What do I need to do to actually remove the dashboard that comes from Sitefinity and install this one? Absolutely nothing. This has already been done for you. So when I click now on dashboard, and by the way, even in the future, if you deactivate it, it will bring in the old dashboard by itself right away. So you don't have to do anything to bring it in or out, just activate it or deactivate it. When I click on dashboard right now, that will load our Falafel dashboard instead of the dashboard that comes with Sitefinity. And it loaded, and there it is. There is our new Falafel dashboard in here showing in the system. First of all, there is the admin board. This is a nice little widget so admins, for instance, can put a message here for all the back-end users. Let's say, for instance, the Microsoft Exchange server is going to be down next week, or we're going to be rebooting the server on Sunday in the afternoon. It's a good idea to put a message in here. We'll come in here, we'll say system reboot next Sunday, for instance. Okay? Oops, reboot. There you go. If I post this, this will stay in here, and it's using actually all the system in Sitefinity itself to be able to show you all this information. So you can delete them later on, but it's a good idea to leave these messages that are important for people to see on the system. Latest post in the blogs, I entered 3 different samples in here for 3 blog posts, and the system automatically will show them in here so they can see what are the last 3 or the last 5, and I'll show you how to change the configuration for all of them. If you have any pages in draft mode, for instance, I have about maybe 7 or 8 pages, but 2 of them are in draft mode. They will show up in here, so you can remember there are some pages that have not been published yet. You'll notice here the form stats. I have 3 forms. 3 of them have been published. and 3 of them have been published today. There are no forms with responses at this moment. We'll see later on when we start adding responses, they will show up automatically inside of the form stats. The user access is very, very important for Sitefinity, especially for admin. It will show you all the users in here, and you can lock them. If they are locked out, you can lock them. You can actually release the lock. If you notice that sometimes if you incorrectly enter the password more than 3 times incorrectly, you'll be locked out, and an admin will need to do that. So that makes it very easy to unlock somebody just by clicking on the logo in here. And for an admin, for instance, to come and force a log out of somebody directly from the user access widgets in the dashboard. So it becomes a very useful control, not only for releasing a log, but also for forcing somebody to log out regarding a specific version of Sitefinity and so on. The local weather is very important as well. You can see it's using JavaScript, and it's making calls into the weather.com website. You can actually add which cities, for instance, you would like to see the weather for. I'm going to show you also how to do that in a second. The popular discussions in here, these are all from the forum. So if anybody puts a thread or replies to a thread, you can actually monitor here how many. And in the configuration section, of course, you can tell how many you want to see, maybe 5 or 10 or 7 different, the latest popular discussions in the system if you would like. Notice also we can see the content stats. So based on the news or events on the blog posts, I have 3 blog posts. I don't have any press releases or news item or events, but you can see the difference between the different ones in the system for content. Also, if we go down a little bit, you'll notice there is a media stats in here. We can see how many images, documents, and videos in the system. This can be very useful as well. The system health, in my opinion, is extremely crucial for every admin or an IT person running a Sitefinity site. There is a server info, there is a web server info, and there is a Sitefinity info. It's important for a lot of people, for instance, to know the machine. This is the server machine. This is not, of course, the local machine. So we can tell which operating system is running the server, how many CPUs, how much memory is free on that server, how many disk space. You can even tell how much hard drive is available to you on that server. Very, very important as well. The web server, a lot of time people want to find out what is the version of ASP.NET is running, which browser is hitting it right now, and so on. Okay. Notice here I'm running this inside of Visual Studio, so it's using the ASP.NET development server. If I move this to IIS, it will tell us which version of IIS, like 7.5 or 7, and so on. Sitefinity info here can be crucial because I can tell which version of Sitefinity 5.1, for instance, Service Pack 1 is running. The license issue date and the license expiration date are right there. The started on, for me, is extremely important because that will let me know when was the last time the application pool has expired. So this is very important as well for an IT person. Whether is this load balance or not, right now it's available because it's a professional version. The total content status, 0 out of unlimited. Again, the next few here can be crucial for these versions of Sitefinity that are not unlimited, like enterprise and professional, for instance, or standard. If you're running the small business version or the free version, you want to tell how much of the content or pages that you're allowed to have will be in here, especially also for the total subscription status, subscriber status for the email campaign. Having a limit of 25,000, you want to find out how many of those do you have left already. So with all that stuff in the system, one of the features that we decided to do is that you might not like the way this is laid out because some things are more important for you than others. So this is using old JavaScript on the client side. So I can take this admin board, drag it, as you can see in here, and I can put it anywhere I want to. And it will persist it so that on this machine now, it will automatically remember which way you would like to do this. So I can move this down. It is very simple to do, and it will work really well for you. Alrighty. Also, if some of them, you need them to be collapsed, you can click on that arrow. It will collapse them automatically also with JavaScript. Makes it much easier to deal with this. If you take a look at all the way at the top in here, there is a dashboard options, and there is a help button. Let's take a look at the dashboard option first. First of all, in here, again, using JavaScript, it will show you all the different widgets that are available. You can turn some of them off if you would like. In the future, the more we add more widgets, and in a different video, I'm going to also show you how to create a widget in few seconds, actually, and make it part of the framework of the dashboard as well. So you don't have to wait for us. You can actually build your own widgets and they will automatically register themselves in the dashboard right away. You can also have a screen layout of 1, 2, 3, or 4 different columns. We chose the 3 columns in here to be the default, but you can change that if you'd like as well. Finally, the help section in here, we have links to the most important thing from Sitefinity and from the Telerik team regarding the SDKs and the support center and the issue tracker. The only thing we added in here, other than Falafel software for our Sitefinity section on the website, we have a dashboard feedback. I would really recommend for everybody to help us out, letting us know where we would like to spend our time to create more widgets. So if you click on the dashboard feedback, we're ending up using the user voice website. So immediately you can actually enter your suggested idea, describe it a little bit, put your email address and post the idea, and it will show up automatically on the site for the Falafel account for user voice. And everybody else have access to it, and you can see what people are asking for. So we're creating, for instance, a Salesforce widget for the next dashboard, error log widgets. We're creating a responsive design for the dashboard so it can show very nicely on iPhones and Androids and Windows Phone devices and so on. We're also creating a comments management to be able to approve or spam or delete comments automatically from the dashboard. All the stuff is coming up here very quickly. I also would like to remind everybody that you can go to the administration section. If you go to settings in here, and on the left side, instead of basic settings, we'll click on the advanced settings. I wanted to show you that you'll be able to have your own section in here. We created one called Falafel Dashboard right there. And there is tons of things that you can actually see you can do to the Falafel Dashboard. First of all, we'll be showing the version number in the future version of the dashboard. The important part is, as you know, in the dashboard, we give it away for free. But at the bottom of the dashboard, we have a little bit of a marketing spiel. We're putting our Falafel services. Let me show you what I mean in here. If you go all the way at the bottom in here, we're putting Falafel Sitefinity service. We have our consulting, training, and custom module. And that's why we're giving away the whole thing for free to keep it there. Some companies, of course, we would not want to have all that marketing stuff at the bottom. To release or to remove this, you will have to purchase the version of Sitefinity, and that will remove this right away. And you can do whatever you want with the dashboard at that time. That's why if I go back to here to advanced and we click on the Falafel Dashboard, you'll get a registration code from us. Once you put the registration code in here, that will allow you to remove the Falafel marketing banner at the bottom right away. If you look at the widgets, you'll notice that all the widgets will add themselves in here. Each and every one of them, you can actually change the title, the description, do whatever you would like to do. One of the nice features that you can enable it or disable it. My favorite part, of course, is to allow which roles are allowed to see this. So if I come in here and say authors and designers with a comma in between them, these are the only roles that will be able to see the admin board. So maybe you want not everybody on the back end to be able to see the admin board. You can actually do that. Form stats is the same way. Local, see here, local weather, for instance, we have it for everyone. The latest post, we have authors, comma, editors, user access, everybody, popular discussions, authors and editors, and so on and so forth. So you probably can get the idea in here that you can set who can see it. The media stats, authors, editors, and designers can see that as well. For scripts in here, notice that we are including a lot of JavaScripts in here that come automatically with the system. You can add your own. Of course, if you're going to start creating multiple widgets for the dashboard, you're more than welcome to do that. And we're using the weather feed coming from the weather.com website. Also, we have some content JavaScript files. As you can see in here, we have user access JavaScript files. You can actually add your own as well. For styles in here, we have actually some CSS files for displaying the Kendo UI controls on the site. We're also having some CSS that we're bringing in from the weather.com website to do the REST APIs against that. For the admin board, we're having some IDs in here for the DLL itself for the admin board, the content stats, error logs. These are all things that will be coming into the future. We just put the placeholder here in the configuration section because the IT department would like to see maybe the last 50 errors that happen on the server so that they don't have to go read a lot of documentation, a lot of text files. We will show all the stuff in the dashboard as well if you like. All the other controls in here, like form stats, are you can come, for instance, for the latest blog. We can say the post count. I only see 5 in the grid, or you want to see 10. You can decide whatever you'd like. Days before, here the value is 7. Summary count is very interesting. Right now you can see summary count, I want to see only the first 100 characters of the summary, not the whole summary. Maybe the summary is too much to see in the dashboard, so you can put the number of characters you'd like to see as well. The root post URL, this is an important piece to understand. Right now on the dashboard, there are no clicks on the post to go to the post right away. And that's because this value is empty. Every website will be different. So if you know where your blog's URL is, put the URL in here, and now all the links in the dashboard will be clickable, and you will be able to go directly to that page to show you that post in design time. The local weather has a big area in here. We have locations. Notice these are weird numbers and values. This is coming directly from the weather.com website. So you notice there is maybe 6 or 7 different cities around the world that we're showing in here. One of them is not Sofia, where Telerik is headquartered in Bulgaria. Let's go ahead and show you, for instance, how we'll do that. If I go to weather.com, for instance, there is the weather.com. I can look for Sofia, Bulgaria. And there is the weather in Sofia, Bulgaria right now. If you take a look here, there is the BUXX. This is the code actually for the city of Bulgaria, of the Sofia in Bulgaria. So if I take that, Control C, let's go back in here, I can maybe put it as the first one I want to see with a comma. If you put the code of the city anywhere in the world that the weather.com can support, when I say save changes right now, let's go back to the dashboard, and I'm hoping this will be Sofia right there. The first one will be Sofia 64 degrees. And every few seconds it will actually change here to go to the next city, and so on. I hope you enjoy this dashboard. We worked very hard on it to make it more useful so that you can actually enjoy Sitefinity by coming to the dashboard and seeing what's going on. And as I said, we will be adding a lot more features to this over time. It's all written in MVC and Razor syntax. I'm hoping you're finding it very fast and very useful for everybody. Thank you so much for downloading it, and we hope you enjoy it.